It's not yet. Okay, we're live. Yay. All right. Hey, y'all. We are just checking to make sure that we are live in our Facebook groups. Megan's got her group. I've got my group. Yep. And if you are watching this on YouTube, I'm going to check and make sure it is streaming properly on YouTube. Hold on here. It should be any minute. Anyways, hi, y'all.
Hello. Okay, I am looking for it to be in the Generational Real Estate Facebook group. So I'm hoping that it's showing up here, but we might be having technical difficulties. So
let me look and see. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's in your group. Hold on here. Let's see. Jen. Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Oh, we are. There we are.
There you are. There you are. Real Estate Automations with Michele B. and Megan Luker. Woohoo! Not too bad. Coming live from StreamYard. This is being recorded, y'all. If you have any questions about what we're doing today, feel free to drop them in the collective spaces in our groups. We're streaming in two groups. And so we'll circle back with any questions. We can't always see who is asking the question. It says Facebook user. If you don't know, Megan and I met on Clubhouse.
Yay! 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Crazy. So, and we still meet there 3 times a week. And what's really cool is certain things have bubbled up with what we both love to do and learning at the same time. I certainly am no genius when it comes to ManyChat. I just started using it. So that's going to be my portion today. And Megan's going to be talking about automations, especially with CRMs. And so, you know, our hope is that you take a couple things away that you can implement in your business right away, and things that will make your life a little easier. Right, Megan?
Yes. And I love that we're seeing all these Facebook users, but we can't see your names. So I think there's some kind of a technical difficulty with
and it is not being zoomed. It is in our groups, or it's on YouTube.
Yeah, so look live. It's live right now, and we're going to get this started in just a few minutes. We'll wait for a few more people to come in.
Yeah.
So yes, I call Michele Boca all the time, and it's been just a fabulous journey to be together, learn from each other, and now collaborate for our real estate systems, our marketing, and share with you guys today some tips and things that we are finding very helpful in our businesses. And I've been in real estate 30 years in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and super excited today to share with you real estate automations with your CRM. Now, I'm going to be focusing a little bit on mostly on Follow Up Boss as my CRM. And Boca, Michele is going to talk more about social media automations and using ManyChat. So we're really excited. I see there are people saying that, can you see the video? I'm just double checking. I can see it in Generational Real Estate Facebook group. Hi, Mia.
And I can see it in Real Estate Reinvention Facebook group. Oh, I'm continuing on to YouTube. Apparently I have to, there we go. Okay. So now it should be live on YouTube. There we go.
Are you checking that?
All right. Should be on YouTube as well. So, hey, we're learning. We're learning with this stuff, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Boca was setting me at ease. Well, this is free. And so if we mess up, oh, well. We're just going to have
fun. You know what? We'll put it out. Exactly. So welcome. We're going to keep this really simple today. Megan's going to kick us off with what she likes to do with automations, and then she'll lob it over to me. And I'll go through a little bit of what I've been doing with ManyChat, which many of you have been um, the on the receiving end of, especially on Instagram. When you have seen somebody do a keyword and tell you to pop it in the comment, well, that's what I'm doing with ManyChat. So, Megan, why don't you get us started? We're going to be done at 2:00.
Yes.
And if you have any questions, just feel free to drop them in. We'll do our best to answer them.
And again, bear with us. This is my first time doing StreamYard, and I've only done one other PowerPoint type of presentation live.
You're
Second,
doing great. You're
yeah.
doing
So
great.
I'm going to add to the stage a little bit of what I've prepared for you guys today. I'm really excited about sharing with you some of the systems I'm using with my CRM and with Follow Up Boss. So here we go. Okay. Is that big enough? Can you see it? Do I need to go any larger, or is it good?
I think that's fine. Can everybody who's watching see it
I mean,
okay?
that
There you go. Perfect.
does that work okay? All right. So here we go. The next thing I would like to talk to you is a little bit about automating. Now, I really believe for relationship building that you shouldn't automate everything. Like, you should definitely get on the phone, talk to your clients in your sphere, and you should be personalizing. So don't automate everything in your whole business. So I thought this was a little funny little gift that I put in there today. So this is your basics of automations. You want to make sure that you understand triggers. Triggers are what if this happens, then what you're going to do next. And to get started using automations, you definitely need to have some email templates already built out, and some text templates. And then once you have those in place, then you can start to develop action plans. And action plans are where you combine emailing, calling, tasks that you're doing. Maybe it's a handwritten note, or it's the next communication that you're going to take place with that person. And then there's ways within, once you have the action plan set up, then you automate. And I'm going to go through all of this today. And this is going to be a part 1 basics, so that I can keep it pretty simple. And hopefully then we can then have a part 2 at some point that goes a little deeper dive. So the questions to ask when you're automating is, who am I talking to? What is the next thing that has to happen? And when does there need to be a communication or a task implemented? So you keep those things in mind, and then you can start to kind of draw out what you're going to do when you automate your business. The categories, these are the categories you'll want to think about what automations you're using in your CRM and with your real estate business. First of all, obviously, leads, what to do with leads, what to do with your buyers, your sellers, your referring partners, your clients in sphere, deals, and life events. And I'm going to just double check that I'm not making the slides, bottom of the slides, something happened to them. So I'm going to move us to the left there. Okay, so here, I'm not going to be able to go through all of these today, but this, hopefully you guys will be able to see this. These are examples of different seller email templates that I use in my CRM with Follow Up Boss. And if you want to take a look at this a little bit more of a deeper dive, this is kind of like what I go through with my sellers. So you think about everything you do with your seller and how the information you want to send to them and communicate to them. So here's my list. I'll let you guys read that, but I do try, we have some of this, the same verbiage, but a lot of times what happens with the Friday emails is we have a base email template set up, and then we're able to kind of go in there and customize for each week. So these email templates are set, but they're not automated to go out every Friday. We hand select those. My transaction coordinator and my admin actually helps with this. We do have some automated emails and text message reminders, and I'm not even going to go into text messages today. But this is an example of setting up email templates. You can also, in Follow Up Boss, they have several library text templates, and a lot of the action plans that are there in Follow Up Boss have the text templates. So again, I'm going back to the very basics here. This is just an overview. You'll be able to come back and watch this again, and you could, get some ideas of how you're going to set up your seller templates. Okay. Buyer examples. These are the buyer emails that I utilize. I have more, but these are kind of the basics, I think, to get started. The introduction emails are so important, and the taking the buyer through the consultation and what to expect with the transaction. And then obviously we do a lot of confirmation emails, and then through the whole step of the deal and the transaction. And then of course we have, the extras like follow up after closing and Google reviews. So these are just your basics that you want to get started with. And you can come back later and look and take a screenshot or whatever of the ones that I have here. Other email templates that you want to go through and look and see what you have is lead capture, lead nurture, lead magnets. That's the freebies, like I have the downloadable military relocation guide. Referral agent. I have like 5 sets of emails that go out that we are now just automating those to update the referral agent or the person who referred a client to us. The holiday ones are probably the easiest to set up in the very beginning, and life events, which I'm going to show you those in just a few minutes. But you can do some fun templates and customize to your brand, and you can set up, new email templates for any kind of client events. One of my favorite ones is my pie drive. And also for gifting, I have reminders that my VIP clients get a gift every month. It's the Lolo gift program. And we try to follow up with a reminder to use their gift and what it is after it comes out. And then newsletter. Actually, I have my newsletter. Originally, I had news through Follow Up Boss, but now I have MailChimp. Okay, so action plans. Now, if I have time, I'll come back and open up a little bit in Follow Up Boss, but this is these are links. And when you put together your action plans, it's really good to have like a table of contents and a link to that action plan so that you can go in and you can update anything that needs to be added to that action plan. So like a buyer long-term nurture, if you think of something you want to do, like a handwritten note or task it out to your VA, then you could go back in and you could quickly find these action plans by setting up your own table of contents of your action plans. And you can put them in folders right in Follow Up Boss. So that's kind of what we've done, is we put them in different folders. New lead website registration. That's a huge one. And I won't go into this teaching right now, the details, but there's a lot of work you can do through Zapier, and you can set up the HTML to go right from your website into Follow Up Boss. There's so many ways to connect, and you can see those lead generation leads come right in as a new contact. And we put them into stages, which That's going to be in my part 2 because I realized I wouldn't have time to go through all of my stages that I have everybody in when they come through our real estate CRM. A really good one is to have a stale lead engagement. So if all of a sudden they start back up looking at, like, I use Real Scout, then it automatically links with Follow Up Boss, and it tells me that they have started looking at properties again. And so then we have an action plan that is triggered to get them back into the pool for us to contact immediately by phone. And then a buyer property inquiry. And then this home search one is the one I was just talking about. Okay, so if you can zoom in and see this, this is actually an example of how you set up a property inquiry in Follow Up Boss for the action plan. So if you go in, you'll see that these are how you click on the button in Follow Up Boss. And this is, I'm trying to keep this really basic for those who don't use Follow Up Boss. It's the concepts are the same. So if you don't use Follow Up Boss, you can figure out how in your CRM to set up these type of triggers and action plans. So if you look at it, you'll see new property inquiry, and then within 3 days, the conditions, and then they get into this action plan. So that action plan actually starts. Re-engage a stale lead, same thing. The tag, we add a tag that they were re-engaged. And then that way I can search for any leads that have come back in and they're tagged re-engaged, and I have smart lists for that. But that's a whole nother go down that path with smart lists. So if you tag things well, you could have tons of different smart lists that will allow you to see who's re-engaged or who are new leads or who's looking at property. And this is the condition. It has to include any of the tags that we have. And then they get the action plan, which is texting and call and tasks that go with stale lead engagement. And then you just run it once per person. So that's a re-engage example. Now, moving on to automations and table of contents. So this is what I recommend that you do to get started. Get a list of what you want to start with first. When I first started, for me, birthdays and home anniversaries were super important, and gifting, because that's one of my love languages. So I really like having kind of a game plan that I follow on timeline of when I'm going to talk to them and send out emails. And so client birthday is really easy to get started, being consistent with your touches. And with Follow Up Boss, you have to, if you do not put the husband and wife or the spouses as one contact where they're in the same, you have to set up a custom label for spouses. If you have your significant others as separate contacts, then you won't have to worry. In my Follow Up Boss, I have them linked together. So I have a custom label for birthdays. And that's another thing that I'll show you later, but this is what it looks like. Let me go back, hold on. So birthdays and home anniversaries, the same kind of thing. Birthday is today, so it's triggered by a date. So the date that is their birthday in the custom part of the CRM, then it triggers this action plan, and then they get an email sent to them for their birthday. And I'm sure there's a lot of you here that have seen some of the emails that I send out for my friends, Sphere, referral partners for their birthdays. And then same thing with home anniversary. This is a really good one. The VIP clients A+ and A. These are the people that are in my special Facebook group. And when I add a new person that becomes an A plus or an A in my systems, they automatically get tagged A or A plus. And when they get tagged A plus or a note was added, and then they go into the Sphere A action plan. And that is like my touch points and reminders of touches throughout the year and gifting and communication. And then that way, a brand new closing, and they've given me a referral and they get, labeled A plus, then there's tasks in that action plan that put them into they get invited to the Facebook group, or they have other tasks that go along with that action plan. Okay, just closed automation, post-closing plan, and this one includes asking for more Google reviews again. So when the tag is added, 2024 closed buyer, for example, then the stage changes, and that stage goes to close. And again, I'm going to probably in the part 2 talk about how important it is to change the stages of the people in your CRM, because a lot can happen if they're in like a do not communicate and you don't change that, then they may not get an action plan added to keep in touch. And then the action plan that gets added is post closing plan. Okay, now these are some advanced level action plans that that are really important, that I think that we've been slowly adding these to-do action plans. And I give a lot of credit to my daughter-in-law. She's my transaction coordinator, and she's developed these checklists. And so the checklists are when there's a deal change. So like if a listing plan is coming, the paperwork checklist is sent out. And then that way the TC can check off, and I can see that it was a reminder that we're starting that paperwork. And then the buyer agreement document checklist. This is also really important for when you're starting and setting expectations with your buyer. And so we have spreadsheets. And if I get through all of this right now, then I might come back here and open up one of these so you can see it. And then the transaction coordinator, that was where I was talking about the email is part of this. That is in the plan. They get the actual checklist sent to them as a document. So it's like I knew it went out, and they will be able to get in there and do the checklist for me, so that I know that everything is been completed to move to the next phase with the client. And then the same thing with the ratified contract checklist. So paperwork's really important. And if you have broker reviews and you need to make sure that you've turned everything in, I would say that these are the next action plans that you should implement into your CRM. Okay. Now, this is one that gets everyone crazy. But I think Google Forms are amazing for being efficient. And since 2024, I've been using a Google form for each of my assistants and for myself. When I think of something that needs to get done, I just click on the link to the Google form, and it's on my calendar, and I write in what needs to get done. And so if you send a Google form to a client intake, we have a client intake. These are the directions on how to set up a Zapier automation. And this is for Follow Up Boss, but Zapier can do jot forms, doesn't have to be Google form. But this is was really kind of a little bit hard, and you have to make sure all of the fields line up. And through I think I would love to show this to you in the next Zoom that we're going to do, or StreamYard. But just for example, this Zapier, when you go into Zapier, you have to look for the automations that go with your CRM. And then this takes you through how to set up. This is so you could come back and click on this and walk through it. And I probably will make just a separate video on how to do this. But once you get Google Forms, then this means that the client information is attached in your Follow-Up Boss. All this stuff they fill out on the form goes immediately into the Follow-Up Boss and into your custom fields. And this is the steps you take to do it. And I think what I'll probably do, because we're almost to the halfway point of this, I want to leave some room at the end for us to talk. So I hope that that gives you guys a little overview of what I've been doing with my CRM. And I know I didn't actually go in and take you through Follow-Up Boss, but today was really to kind of warm up and give you the overview, so that then we can do a deeper dive, and then people can ask questions, and then maybe there will be many little videos made on how to do some of the more detailed aspects of this. But I really wanted to present just a good overview of automations and how to use those in your CRM. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation today. And now I'm going to turn it over to Boca.
I think it's great. If anybody has any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And I had pointed out that a lot of what you were talking about, Megan, you can use with different types of CRMs. And this is like for inspiration. Google Forms, truly a simple and underrated automation that is free for the most part. I love Google Forms. If you have any questions, though, feel free to drop them in the chat. Aw, there we go.
Oh, thank you for all the love in the comments. I see a lot of comments in the Facebook group. And yeah, I'm just really excited about this, that we're doing this.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about ManyChat. Thank you so much, Megan. That was really good, by the way. For those of you that want to learn more about Follow-Up Boss, you can certainly talk to Megan directly about that. She's like the queen of it. As a matter of fact, you went out to the conference,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And, it's always really awesome when somebody's actually, feet on the ground, boots on the ground. So what were a couple of your takeaways just with Follow-Up Boss when you were out at the conference?
The small group gathering I was invited to, there was about 100 agents that have been using Follow-Up Boss for a long time. And that was probably my most valuable day, was the day before the conference, where I sat in and everybody took their computers up to the front, and they had a big screen and they shared their screen and they showed us hacks inside of Follow-Up Boss of how they were using it. And that's actually how I ended up starting using Real Scout. Was from seeing how they were doing lead captures and how they were automating the nurture aspect of people looking at their home reports every month, and that triggers a phone call. So if you set that up in your CRM, so that when someone looks at a home report, then you can set up an automation like they looked at the home report, give them a call.
I love it. All right, so we're going to move into ManyChat, and I did not put together a slide deck. I'm going to go live and show you a couple of things. If you're not familiar with ManyChat, you may have been on Instagram and somebody said to you, oh, if you want to hear more about this topic, drop the word. It could be gift. It could be course. It could be tips. And then in your DMs on Instagram, you will see a message show up. And I kind of stumbled upon it I want to say it was last year. I was up in Pittsburgh where my daughter lives. And I'm like, what is this ManyChat land? And why are people using it? And how are they using it? And where do I find it? So I actually reached out to my friend Chelsea Pites and I said, Chelsea, what is this automation system? And she said, oh, it's called ManyChat. And I was like, okay. So I started looking at who was using it and how they were using it. And I was like, well, that's a time saver, but it's such a great way to build your email list. And I talk about that frequently is look, at the end of the day, you want to grow your email list. Social media is rented space. And if you have emails, you can do really cool things with them and really stay in touch with your different audiences, right? So this basically, what Megan is talking about, like let's make sure that we're not just doing everything through social, but we do. I have 2 Instagram accounts, and one of them today that I'm going to show you. If you want to toddle over to at Boca, and I hope to heck this works on Instagram. I did a post this morning. I've been using ManyChat on my other Instagram, which is at the Michele B. For those folks that do courses and coaching that may be listening and watching this, that's where I started using it. But since our audience today is mostly realtors, I wanted to share what I did. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go first and foremost on, let me go back over here. I'm going to go on my Instagram so you guys can see the post I did this morning on the gram. Okay, so let's go into, okay. So if I'm looking at my profile, and there's a little bit of a lag, I think. Come on, there we go. So my lag, okay, so here's my profile. And today what I did is I took this, which does that look a little familiar? We've been talking about this. They were talking about this in the BAM event. And this is not my idea. Megan helped me out, who created this from Curator, because I'm looking at 3 things right now. But what I did on my Boca feed is I put this together in Canva. And I said, I just did a home equity report for one of my clients who's gained 200,000 in equity in the last 4 years. Want one too? Get yours. Deets in the caption. What I did then is I went over, and this is the caption that I put together. Did a little research on this. I was looking at some top performing people and how they were doing their captions. So I said, well, I'm just going to put this caption together, and the comment that I want people to do is going to be equity, so that then they can get a home value lead magnet that they can opt into, and I'll send a report. So what I did is I went over here to ManyChat. ManyChat is all about flow. That's like not Flo, the insurance lady Flo, but flow with a W. And basically what you're doing is you're setting up different flows. And so what I did, the first thing I did is I made sure that I attached and connected my Instagram account. This is for Instagram. You can do it with Facebook as well. There's a lot of other ways to do this, but I'm focusing on Instagram today. The other account that I have, here's my other ManyChat account that I have other flows set up in because I have a course. And so I had been playing on this a lot. But as I said, for today, since my audience is really like looking at how can I automate, my audience is the consumer. We want to do automations that are going to attract the consumer. In this case, I was doing a seller automation with the home equity. So you would hit like new automation to start something. And what I did is I just wanted to do something with a post, but I didn't want to use a template today. All I wanted to do was start from scratch. And Megan mentioned trigger. So a trigger is an event that starts your automation. So what's your new trigger? Well, one, it's going to go to Instagram, and two, my new trigger is going to be user who comments on your post or your reel. And that's what I did today. For example, let me find, here's like a welcome home one. I'm just going to use this as an example since I already have a post up. So for welcome home, you can view it on Instagram. I clicked on all posts or reels, next post or reel. So I think the way that kind of works is that if your post isn't up yet, maybe it'll trigger it. And then I hit continue. What will start your DM? Well, it depends. The keyword for that's probably going to be, I'm going to put Boca because it's like people moving to Boca. Okay. And it's not going to be any comment. It's going to be specific keyword. So for this one, again, like I said, Boca, and I am new at this. So there we go. And continue. Then what I want to do is, would you like to set up a public reply in the feed? Yeah, I can set up the public replies in the feed. You can write down whatever you want. That's going to save it. So if I want to say sent link, for example, if I want to say done, check DM. If I want to do just check your DM, that's all I need to do. I can save that. Okay. So basically, if anybody comments on this based on whatever my caption is, right, and I say, mention the word Boca, then they're going to get a message. And the message is going to include all the information that you want that person to get as a lead magnet. So maybe, what I was talking about is get your relocation guide for Boca. So then you can go get your relo guide here. And then what I would do is I would drop the URL to the lead magnet. Now,
Hey, Michele.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying they can't see your screen changing.
They can't see the menu.
Chat. Yeah, they're seeing just your Instagram screen.
Hold on. Can you see that now?
I see it.
Can you see it now?
Yep, I see that now.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the one I created this morning so you guys can see all the steps I just talked about. So this is the home equity one that I set up this morning. And you can see the post that I did on Instagram, right, from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I set up that I wanted, if somebody mentioned the word equity, okay, then the user comment on my post or reel. So there's the post. You guys can see the post, right? So I chose this post. I added the trigger word of equity. I came up with random replies so that if you drop the word equity, you're going to get a quick reply from me that says, I guess they'll just kind of roll through it. And then the message sent will be click here to get your custom home equity report. And what I did here is I linked up the URL on my website that already has, just for simplicity purposes. And I'm going to move over to that tab and make sure that I'm sharing that tab. I think I missed a step there, guys. Sorry about that. So now you can see my tab for inherited property, for example. But in this case, I wanted home valuation. So this is the link that I used. And then they can, put everything in here and get their report. Okay. So what I like about this is that when I go to my DMs, and I'm going to go back over to Instagram. Can you see my Instagram now?
Yes.
Okay. So if I go into messages, I had a couple people test it for me. Megan was one of them. Kylie was one of them. And I was one of them. So here's Megan. And so when Megan dropped whatever, she should be able to get the custom report. And by clicking on it on her end,
It showed right up in my Instagram back
yeah,
channel.
it's really cool. All right, I'm going to go back to ManyChat and I'm going to share this tab. See, there's a step there I have to click. Can you see that now?
Mm-hmm.
So what's nice about this is you can set up, like to Megan's point, any sort of triggers that you want. So if I had a story, like I'm going to get rid of this one real quick. If I wanted to set up a new automation, right, all I have to do is start it over and decide exactly what it is that I want. And you can use templates. I just haven't gotten that sophisticated with it. But I love the fact that you can build an email list with it. You can send a new blog post with it, which is what I'm going to start using more and more with Boca. Instagram stories to generate more leads. So if I want to start from scratch and I want to, start something, I could say for Instagram, I would like if users comment on my live, because sometimes I go live. And if they comment on niche, for example, right? And I save that, then I can go through that and it will do the whole thing all over again. Let's do actually a different keyword. So maybe I could do, let's say, first time home buyer. Or let's say, let's just put home. We'll just use one word, makes it easy. So this is a live. So I'm on a live and I'm saying, hey, y'all, if you drop a word in the comment on my live, drop the word home, and you are going to get the following. And this is going to go to Instagram and it'll be like first time, say you're doing the live for first time home buyers, first time home buyer guide. And if you have a guide set up, you can, again, you want to build your email list and you want to name your button so you could put first time home buyer guide. Okay. What I always suggest though is you definitely want to add a link to something. So if you're going to add a link, like what are you using as a landing page? So for example, I use MailerLite for my landing pages. You may use lead pages. There's lots of different types of companies out there that do the mailings, but they also have landing pages and lead magnet pages, whatever you want to call it, squeeze page that you can set up. So you could literally set this flow up so that if they drop the word home in comments on your live, they're going to get in their DM the first time homebuyer guide, lead magnet, and they're going to give up their email address to get it. So they're either going to do it or they're not going to do it. Does that make sense to everybody? I'm going to come over here for a minute. Okay. I'm going to stop share for a minute here. Whoops, cancel. So it's one of those programs that you have to play around with it. And to somebody's question, I'm using the pro version. So this morning I paid to also attach the Boca Instagram account. I was already paying for the other one, but I want to build my email list with the consumer from Boca. And so I know this was like super uber simple, and I apologize for not tapping the screen originally, but you get like the gist of, wow, how powerful this can be. Now, I don't need to reinvent the wheel. ManyChat has a YouTube page, and I highly recommend, if you want to learn more about it, which is where I'm learning more about it, is go to their YouTubes. They're really short, by the way, and it just gives you that extra, oh, wow. Now I think there's a component to this where after 24 hours, like it doesn't really work anymore. So I think you can go back in and redo it, but you can do it for stories. You can do it for posts and reels. You can do it for live. It looks like, from what I can see here, that you can set it up to Messenger on Facebook. So there's a lot of different ways that you can leverage ManyChat and use it in your business to build your email list. Many of you watch Sharon Srivatsa. Um, he is fantastic, and he is an email marketing guru. And I watch many things that he does, but in particular, I am highly fascinated by the email marketing campaigns that I get from him. But realistically, he was one of the first ones that I saw using ManyChat. And I was like, wow. So when I was putting together my caption today, I looked at how he had put his together. I looked at a few other people that I really admire, how they put theirs together. And you know what? It's not the old Instagram captions. They're really short and sweet anymore. You hardly see any hashtags. And when I started with Instagram, it was all about the damn hashtags and this and that and blah, blah, blah. It was just ridiculous. But now, if you notice, like the coaches that we like and admire, very short and sweet pieces. If you want this, do this. That's about it. And that's why, like, so the caption that I put in my Instagram was very simple. Okay. On my coaching page, I have something that I'm going to drop this afternoon in regard to probate real estate. It's actually a carousel. And it's basically saying, if you want these things to happen in your business, drop this word and get my free webinar. And in exchange for that, I'm going to build my email address. Now, here's the thing, folks. I don't really care if I'm selling whatever it is that I'm selling, because agent to agent referrals are the lifeblood of the business for many of us. This is a great way to connect with people in our sphere that are just literally um, people that we want to work with, people that we want to get to know us better. And so having freebies that are specifically for agents in areas where you may pull from is not a bad idea, especially if you are specializing in something. So, like, I work in the Northeast corridor, Midwest. That's where I seem to get a lot of my referrals, right? I also get a lot of referrals within my brokerage, which many of you do as well. And so, if you can, maybe that's a nice little gift for somebody. Either way, it's just another automation that we all can use, and off to the races. So, again, I am not astute at this. I am learning this as I go. So I'm jumping on their YouTube channel too. But you can use the free version. It's just, I think with the pro version, there's some components that make it really automated, but it's very reasonable. So that's what I've got to share today. I do not know how to get Jennifer's comment off of here. So hey, Jen.
Well, should we drop some questions? If anybody has a question that maybe we can answer for the last 5 minutes before we shut down.
Absolutely.
Let me see. There was a question about Zapier, maybe I saw.
Let's see. Could you post the link to the YouTube? Yes. Let me find it. It's ManyChat. I had it open. And actually, their keyword is at ManyChat on YouTube. So here it is right here.
I can put the slides. Somebody asked if my slides will be up in the Facebook group. I can put those slides there.
Perfect. Perfect.
I'm looking to see if there were any other questions.
Once you create, can you boost it? I don't see why you can't boost it. That's a good question, but I don't see why not.
Somebody asked,
are you boosting's good. Boosting's kind of cool. I did a boost. I do boost like maybe once a week, and I do like $1 a day, something stupid.
Someone did ask about action plans similar to campaigns. Action plans are like campaigns. They're basically, every step you're taking to go communicate or do a task with that person. And they can be even changing the action plans, even can add tags. They can change the stage of the person from dormant or inactive to active. We do a lot of changing of stages with action plans. So when a contract is ratified, the stage changes to pending from under contract to pending. So then it triggers another action plan that would happen when they go to the pending status and what email needs to be sent. So it's reminders for the TC or the admin to do the next thing. And I build all of my action plans in Monday.com. So I have, you can download those into an Excel spreadsheet. And it lists who's doing what task.
Somebody asked about Zapier. Is Zapier the free version?
Yes, you can do the free. Right now, I'm in the free program, and I just picked my 5 favorite Zaps, and for me, that works for now, because Follow Up Boss is integrated with so many other things. There's so much you can do within Follow Up Boss. I just chose to do a few of the Zaps and not to go overboard with Zaps. But there's a lot of people who run teams. Then I would suggest that I have several friends that are our team leads and with Follow Up Boss, and they use the paid version of Zapier.
There you go. So there's lots of free things. I think what we can leave with something with you guys today is something we've talked about in Clubhouse is, once a month, set something on your Amazon device, wink, wink, because I don't want her to go off the chain, to check what you're paying for in regard to apps, and go on your phone to the app store and just see, like, are you using those apps you're paying for? What can you funnel that to? And what free things can you use that will maybe do the same thing? Or are you even using anything? That's the thing. I mean, we're spur of the moment people here in the real estate world, and we love bright and shiny, but you got to want to use it, right? So if you like to your point, Megan, like people that use Zapier, like I can't wrap my head around that. Like my family wants me to play euchre, which is a card game.
We play that too.
And I just I run the other way. I'm like, can we play dominoes, please? Like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
But you did many chats.
To hire someone to do it.
You did many chats, which is, I think, great. It's a flow chart.
Many chat was easy. That for me, once I started understanding it, I'm starting to play with it. But like sometimes you get stuff, you're like, I can't do this. Well, you can hire someone too to set up for you. Would that be a good use of your money instead of a couple apps that you're paying for that you're not using? Totally. And that's another form of automation, is hiring somebody. So there you go. Well, if we have any more questions for your home value, is it a forced registration on your website, or did you? I think it's for my home. I think it might be a forced registration because I want their email address. I'll have to double check. My site is through Lofty, which was Chime. I'm actually doing a deep dive on that tomorrow with someone. But I think I did turn on forced registration at some point.
Well, this has been fun. And I just survived my first
I'm so proud.
It was good. And for those who are looking to use StreamYard, don't be too scared. I think it was great that we got on a little early, and then she showed me around, and it was very friendly to use. And definitely, if you do a StreamYard, I did a Google Slides, and it allows you to put them right there in the bottom. So I didn't have to open up and share my whole computer screen. I just clicked on the deck.
Well, what's nice about StreamYard Megan is a guest on mine today, and they have a new option which allows a guest to stream to 2 destinations. So she has a group. I've got I've got multiple destinations, but I wanted to go into real estate reinvention group and also my real estate reinvention YouTube channel. So please feel free to subscribe to
Yes.
my YouTube
And
channel. I would love
Generational Real
you
Estate
to do
Facebook
that.
group is where the other
Yeah,
streaming is.
exactly. So she was able to stream, I was able to stream, and we went on about 30 minutes early just to knock out the nuts and bolts. So if you guys, are going to do some sort of this kind of presentation, StreamYard, they have a free version. I'm paying for this because I'm doing interviews and whatnot. But it makes it nice because it didn't automatically go live until I hit live. I was like, okay, I think we're ready.
And we'll have a replay, so I'll be able to upload this, on my other platform eventually.
Yep.
So, yeah.
All right, folks. Well, we're going to end the stream.
Yay.
And thank you so much for your time today. And make sure to follow Megan. Make sure to follow at the Michele B at Boca on Instagram. And if you have any other questions or you're watching the recording, feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll all help out with the answers. See you later.
Thank you so much. See you guys.